everyone, today we're reviewing Mazeka. Set number 8954 was originally designed in 2008 and contains 301 pieces. Making his debut appearance in the Brothers in Arms story serial, Mazeka was a scholar working in the Tren Kram Peninsula, where his village was killed by Voltraz, who seek the information that Mazeka and his mentor had gathered. With Mazeka being the only survivor, he sought out Voltraz in revenge. The two clashed many times, until one battle saw Voltraz thrown off a cliff where he was presumed dead. After that, Mazeka was contacted by the Order of Madanui, where he was sent to a Dematoran village, and tasked with retrieving a Matoran named Krakua. After finding him, the village would be attacked by Voltraz, who used a sound attack to incapacitate the Dematoran. Mazeka was able to protect Krakua and get him out of the village. Then Mazeka clashed with Voltraz again and lost horribly. After the defeat, Mazeka demanded that he be trained by the Order of Madanui, often sparring with Tobduck. He would be trained in hand-to-hand combat and mental shielding, as well as other things. After 5 years, Mazeka would follow a trail that would lead him to Voltraz, gaining information that Voltraz was headed to Cardanui. Not knowing where Cardanui was located, he snuck into Helrix's personal chambers to question her, though only Tobduck was there. Tobduck agreed to help him in return for going on a mission. The two traveled to Destral, confronting and killing Makuta Tridax. From here, Tobduck gave Mazeka the information he requested to get to Cardanui. Mazeka would travel to Cardanui using his Swamp Strider. While making his way through the swamp, he would be attacked by Voltraz, who tried to dive bomb him, until they were suddenly teleported into another universe. Taking a look at the set, we're going to start with the figure itself, and then we'll move on to the vehicle. Mazeka is an Avmatoran build, featuring an exact copy of the design we see with Solak, with the torso, feet, and limb pieces, but with some slight differences, such as the orientation and part colors, as the torso is rotated around and the hands are white. Mazeka also has 4 pins located on him, 1 on each hand and 1 on each foot. These are for connecting to the Strider, which I'll get to later. Lastly, Mazeka wears a Kanohi Volatak, the Mask of Stealth, which makes the user nearly invisible and silent, though his is powerless because he is still a Matoran. And it mounts to the head block via an axle on the inside of the mask. Alright, articulation for Mazeka, it's fairly simple. It is an Avmatoran build, so I hope you know what you're getting. But just in case you don't, you get a ball joint at the head, so you can look that far to the side. Well, you can go all the way around. You get a bit of tilt. You can look that far down and that far up. For the arm, you can go all the way out. You can go all the way around, and you get a full rotation and some forward and backward movement on the hinge, or the ball joint. You get a ball joint at the wrist, so you get full rotation, hinge, up and down, all that good stuff. Then at the hips, you get another ball joint. What a surprise. And you can go forward that much, back that much, get the arm out of it, that much, and he can do more than the full splits. That looks painful. And then at the foot, you have a full rotation, ankle tilt, forward that much, back that much. So overall, his articulation is fairly good. So, yeah. So, that's Mazeka. Now, onto the Swamp Strider. The Swamp Strider is a mobile weapons platform type vehicle, originally designed by Helrix. This one we see here is an updated variant of her original design, which she gifted to Mazeka for travel, which Mazeka would use to get around for most of the story until he would be teleported into the melding universe, where the Strider collided with a tree and was destroyed. Taking a look at the Strider, it's a very Technic-heavy build, with Bionicle parts worked in here and there. Starting at the legs, they are made of these Carapar claws, attached to a number of Bionicle parts, so they can articulate. From here, this is where a lot of the Technic is introduced, using lift arms, connectors, and some Metru chest pieces to attach the legs to the main swivel at the center of the build. Moving up, we have a few lift arms and a foot. Yep, just a foot. On the inside there is a piston assembly, but I'll talk more about this in a bit. And finally, coming to the top of the vehicle, we have the seating area, which has another foot and some spiked parts around back. There's also some hooks, which act as the control levers for the pilot. And now we get to the turret itself, which is made of a Zamor launcher and 3 cartridges, so more rounds can be stored. And you get a total of 9 spheres, so 9 shots. And the barrel is made of these Pohatu Fantoka arm pieces and another foot. Alright, articulation wise on the Swamp Strider, I'm going to start at the bottom and then I'll transition to the top. So, moving in and down, let's take a look at the legs first. So, at the bottom of the legs here, can I focus? I can focus. Voila, my camera works. So, you get a double ball joint at right here, and so the legs can move at this hinge. The legs can move out that far because there is a piston on the inside here which prevents it going out farther. So you can curl in this part here all the way in. So that is a great range of motion there. And then at this point here, you can curl it in that far. So yeah, it has a great range of motion, but it can only straighten out that much. So overall, that is pretty good, honestly. I'm happy with that. And all 4 legs are exactly the same. Moving up a little bit, we get to the swivel, and you can rotate that all the way around. So now I'm going to have to back up again, and so I can show you all the rest of the stuff. Alright, we've moved up, and now we are going to talk about the articulation here. So the whole turret can adjust up and down on these 2 hinges here, which also connect here, and so you can hinge up and down. And because the piston on the inside here, it allows it to stay put because, let's see, these 3 pins here, excluding this one, are all frictionless, so otherwise the whole thing would just drop. So that piston allows for the whole thing to stay exactly where it wants, or exactly where you want it. So it can hinge this far down, and then it can hinge this far up. So that is a great range of motion. And then, moving inward here, let me focus, you get articulation on the levers here. So each hook is on a pin, so you can hinge each one individually, and then if you bring both of them out, both of them together, they do tilt. So, just like that. So, you do get some articulation in the pilot seat, which is good. So, overall, that is the articulation for the Swamp Strider. And I should focus. I hear that makes better videos. So yeah, that's the articulation for the Swamp Strider. Now, of course, Mazeka can ride the Swamp Strider. So to get him to do that, you are going to plop him down right here on this Emika thigh cover. And then you're going to take the pins and you're going to plug them into any one of these open 4 pinholes. I think it's the 3rd one. Yeah, you use the 3rd one from the back. And you plug in both feet right there. Sorry, no, it's the 4th one. You plug it in the 4th one right there. So then he can sit nicely on that foot piece. And then you just adjust his legs accordingly. And from here, you pull the hooks out and you plug in his hands to the hooks. Just like that. Do that on both sides. Come on, don't fight me. And you just adjust him, lean him back a little bit, and voila, you have Mazeka piloting the Swamp Strider, just like that. Now the Swamp Strider has a function. See, the back of the Strider is designed to be easily gripped, as gripping these 2 small blade pieces makes it very easy to push the trigger of the function without interfering with the rest of the set. So by pushing the trigger, friction and pressure will send a sphere rocketing out of the Zamor launcher mounted on the inside. As mentioned earlier, you get 9 shots, and you're able to aim the turret in every which direction thanks to the swivel and the hinges. And when you're out of ammunition, reloading is really easy. Just push the spheres into the cartridges. These cartridges also have a small assembly on the top, so then the spheres don't fall out once they've been inserted. Alright, the issues with this set. First off, Mazeka has brittle joints, as they were made in 2008. Though I do consider myself very lucky, as none of these have broken on my copy. Yet. There's also a lot of complaints about the designs of the Armatoran build, as it lacks elbows and knees. I've also heard that Mazeka's colors are rather bland, being white and grey, though both of these issues really don't bother me that much. Now, the final issue with the set is concerning the Swamp Strider, as it's very gappy and comes off as rather unfinished, which is unfortunate because I really think this is a cool idea for a set, having a mobile turret. Though one could argue it's supposed to look like this because Helrix never got around to finishing it, but we don't actually know that, so yeah, it looks unfinished. Alright, for size comparisons, first I'm just going to do Mazeka himself, and then I'll put him on the Swamp Strider, and then we'll do some more comparisons. So I'll set this off to the side for now, and just taking a look at Mazeka himself. He comes in at about 5 3/4 inches, which is about 14.5 centimeters. And for shoulder to shoulder width, he's about 3 3.25 inches, or about 8.5 centimeters-ish. So, for size comparisons, there he is. Here he is next to a Mata build. Zoom out, move up. Here he is next to a Metro build. Move up, zoom out a little. And here he is next to an Anika build. Because I mentioned it earlier, here he is next to Solek. He looks very similar. Now for some in-story comparisons, here he is next to Voltraz. And of course, here he is next to my modded Melding Universe Pterodax. And ooh, I gotta back up, move up, there. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, he's a good size, and Terry is a big boy. So yeah, now let's move on to the Strider. Alright, now that Mazeka is riding the Swamp Strider, height-wise, he comes in at about 13 inches or 33 centimeters. And then the Strider's full length from the front here to the back to the front is about 10.5 inches or 27 centimeters. Size-wise, here it is next to a Mata. Here it is next to a Metro. And here it is next to an Anika. Here it is next to Voltraz's little Sky Flyer thingy. I don't exactly know what it's called, I forget. I'll look it up when I eventually get to his review. Anyway, here's that. And here's the Swamp Strider next to a 2009 vehicle set, the Caxium V3. So that's Mazeka and his Swamp Strider. A really good set that lacks that something that really makes it pop. The figure is pretty basic, there's nothing really special here. At its core, it's just another Avmatoran. And the vehicle is good, but as I said, it comes off unfinished. Though, even with these issues, it's still really fun, especially when letting out a barrage of Zamor spheres on some foes. Personally, I think if this set had a slightly bigger budget in the design phase, it could have worked out some of these issues and been a real standout 2008 vehicle set. Anyway, that's Mazeka. Thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos. And with that, I'm Legend, and I will see you all next time.